My name is Eddie Friedfeld, and I'm a film and entertainment journalist, and I teach film classes, including a class on heroes and villains at NYU and Yale, and most importantly, I'm a fan of the award-winning series, The Flash, and its amazing cast, and I'm so excited about you to be moderating this panel. I'm going to introduce our guests and ask a couple of questions to get the panel going, and then we'll open up the group to have as many questions as time will allow from you folks. We've got 2 mics. So, without further ado, first, please welcome the lovely Iris West Allen, Candice Patton. And second, please welcome the almost as lovely Ralph Dibny, aka the Elongated Man, Hartley Sawyer. Hey.
Oh, the lights. Oh, it's so bright. I'm Hartley.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
All right, first question. Candice, my fandom goes back to the Silver Age Flash, the Carmine Infantino. Are there any older fans in the audience? Thank God.
I see one.
Yeah. So, where Barry Allen keeps his identity secret from everybody, including Iris, and in the new show, it's really an ensemble, it's a team Flash, and kind of looks like Barry Allen introduces himself to everybody as the Flash. But this reimagining of superheroes, Candice, how does a character who has no superpowers become the leader and the heart and soul of the team? Excuse me, I work alone. Let me ask the question again. How does somebody with no superpowers become the leader of Team Flash and the heart and soul of the team? Last call for something.
What is that?
But I'm very interested. Anyways, that's my question. I get distracted so easily. I was like, ooh, shiny things, loud things. I think Iris, one thing that has been a through line for that character since season 1 is she's really the heart of the show, along with Joe West, and she's one of the few characters that can talk to Barry when he himself is feeling hopeless and feeling like a non-hero. She has that ability to kind of speak to him. And she also has the ability to rally the rest of the team. I mean, everyone else is, a science mind and a math mind, and sometimes they get, not so much. And sometimes they get caught up in that, and Iris has the ability to see past that and kind of wrangle everyone and motivate everyone to remember why we do what we do. So I think that's why she kind of has become the quote-unquote leader and morale booster. She's kind of like the coach. I'd say she's like a coach.
You actually got your speedster powers this last season for one episode. How was that?
It was really fun. It was really nice to kind of lead the episode and do all the Viz Effect stuff. I'm sure it was great for Grant to have a break and not have to do that stuff. It was really fun. It was just challenging in a way that the show often isn't for me, just because I'm so used to doing it a certain way. So it was a really great opportunity for me to feel challenged in a new way after 4 seasons, which was really
How was that costume?
It was surprisingly very comfortable. I know I felt terrible saying that to Grant, because he was like, how's the costume? Is it uncomfortable? And I was like, dude.
His are always a little
He's always just kind of like, it's hot and uncomfortable. And I was like, mine's like a jacket and some leather pants. It feels great.
I think that was on purpose. They made yours really comfortable and keep his uncomfortable.
I don't know. Keep him in line. Yeah, but mine was pretty comfortable, easy to get in and out of. It was good.
Hartley, you walk into this ensemble hit show after 3 solid seasons.
Boo!
And fit in seamlessly and knock it out of the park. What was it like?
Well, that's subjective.
What was it like walking into a cast like that and doing so well first year?
Well, thank you for saying that. But it was really nerve-wracking actually at first, because I knew the show was so successful, and I knew that the fans were so passionate about it, and so I mean, I didn't want to screw it up, you know? And I wanted it to go really well. And I knew it was a character that wasn't like something they had, but one of the first things I noticed was how nice everyone on the cast is, because they are. All the cast and the crew and everybody was so nice. And I remember when I first met Grant, and I already knew Danielle Panabaker, so that made things easier. And I think one of the biggest things for me was that on my first episode, Tom was the director. And that was huge for me, because, I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Tom is a great guy, and an amazing director. And so he just kind of brought me in, and he was like, this is that, and really helped me flesh out the whole thing. So that was, I mean, they made it easy, except you. Everybody else made it easy, except you. But it was easy, except for you.
It's my role to haze you.
I'm sorry?
It's my role to haze you.
Yeah, no, I know. But it was great. It was made easy by the cast, and you know, how settled in they were, and it's just a really good group of decent people.
I have to say, Hartley stepped into our show, and the first scene I remember shooting with you was, you know, where your jaw elongated, and it was just so impressive to see him walk into such a well-oiled machine and make it his own, and you didn't seem afraid. You just kind of came in with big choices, and you stuck to it, and I was like, yeah, this dude is gonna fit in really well around here. And I mean, think about Hartley. He's so terribly funny and kind and always lighthearted on set. It's true. And so he just fit in with the dynamic of who we are as a cast. We are very silly. We don't take ourselves too seriously. And Hartley kind of really fell into that.
It's very funny.
Yeah, you can pay me later. It's fine.
You want to toast with peanut butter and jelly later?
I wanted to ask you about playing this character, the elongated man that's larger than life. And when I think of you doing this, I think of Robin Williams in Aladdin and Jim Carrey in The Mask. How do you play, what goes into playing a character like that, so largely animated?
I mean, I just thought that, like, if we're gonna do Ralph Dibny, we've got to really go for it. And early on, we have to let people know that, like, this is a different thing that they've seen before, and his face will fall off when he sneezes, and like all these weird things can happen. But from when I first read the script, I always saw the character. I don't know if you guys watch Better Call Saul. It's one of my favorite shows. And I always imagined Ralph as like Saul Goodman if Jim Carrey raised him. And that's kind of who I thought he was, with like sprinkling some Chris Pratt in there, and I was like, that's who he is. So that was kind of my take on the whole thing. But I thought we had to go there, make it big, make it broad at first, so that we could then humanize it more as the season went on, and that was something that we talked about early on, and I think they did a really good job of doing that.
That's great. Now that you guys are part of the superhero world, which is really rarefied air, you've got all this connection with people, and what you do means so much. I wanted to ask you about personal stories. What was the most meaningful connection you had with a fan? I mean, it's just, so you mean so much more to people on a regular basis. There's, it's not just entertainment, it's inspiration, it's kind of uplifting. I have a small street cred. I got to drive the original Batmobile. But I'll start with you, Candice. What's the most meaningful thing a fan ever said to you?
Gosh, I can't think of one specific encounter, but you know, I meet so many young women of color who feel so represented by me being in this role. You know, Iris West obviously is traditionally Caucasian, and they hired me, a black woman, to play that role, and that was kind of groundbreaking at the time. We're seeing a lot of it now in comic book movies, but at the time it was an interesting choice to make Iris black and make her the lead female of the show, and to make her the love interest for the hero. And that's something we don't often see. We're seeing more of it every day, but it's important for young women of color to see themselves as leading ladies and as ingenues and beautiful and as the desired one and as smart and important to the team and someone that drives the story along. So I meet a lot of young women who feel important and empowered by my portraying Iris, and that's probably the most rewarding thing about this job for me.
Oh, that's so great. I had interviewed Michelle Nichols. She deserves applause. I had interviewed Michelle Nichols, who said that she was going to quit after her first year as Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek. And she was talked out of it by Dr. Martin Luther King, who told her that she needed to be on to be a role model.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know.
Hartley?
What was the question?
Question.
Meaningful fan encounter.
Oh, her most meaningful? I don't know. You're
Yours.
gonna have to ask her. I have no idea. One of the most meaningful ones that I had was I was doing one of these conventions, and there were two things. One person came up to me and said that they had within the last 6 months or whatever it was, hey, there's a plastic man over there. That's crazy. That's a very bold choice, sir. He's got great thighs, though. In the last 6 months before I met her, she had lost her mother. And she told me, and this was a very emotional exchange, she told me that the first time that she actually smiled and she laughed since that had happened was when she was watching one of the episodes that I was in. And it was whatever, silly, goofy Ralph thing that I did, and she said it was the first time that she laughed. And that was one of the most amazing things that I had heard. And then somebody else told me that what they really liked about Ralph was that they didn't feel they struggled a lot with their blood family, with their own, immediate family, and they liked that Ralph found family wherever it was, whether it was blood or not, and they really, really related to that in that sense, that, family is whatever you make it, and maybe if things don't work out with your own family, that doesn't mean that you don't have a family. And that really resonated with them as well, and I was very touched by that.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I think it's cool doing these conventions too, because we meet people from so many different walks of life and from so many different countries around the world, and it's incredible how much reach this show has, and that it inspires so many different people. It's really a very touching thing that so many different people can. Oh my God, a dog! I can't think anymore.
No, I have no questions prepared for this dog. Hartley, do you want to introduce your friend?
What is his name? Jess? Jazz? So it's a girl? Boy? Hi, Jazz. I gotta put this mic down for a second, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let me ask this question. Do you have a favorite, Candice first, do you have a favorite superhero? Did you grow up loving this world?
Batman for sure. I'm sure a lot of people have heard me say that, but for me it was always Batman. I mean, I loved that he didn't have superpowers. He wasn't struck by lightning or didn't come from a super planet. He was just a guy, a very rich guy, I'll give him that. But a guy who saw a need in his city and met that need. And I think that speaks to something in all of us, that we don't have to have superpowers to do something great in our immediate communities. Yeah, I hope that he's a billionaire, but you don't have to be a billionaire to do something great. But yeah, Batman for sure.
My favorite superhero? It's kind of always been Batman. I love Batman. And I think I just related to that. Batman, is that you?
No one cares about Robbie Amell. Like, let it go. It's not gonna happen.
Right, that's right. But yeah, look.
That's going to go viral.
Yeah.
Love you, Robbie.
I just always related to that idea that, I don't know when it's like to have superpowers or anything like that, and everybody always says, yeah, he's rich, that's a superpower, and it's like, that's not really the message of the character. I mean, the message of the character is that, you know, if you apply yourself to something, you can become anything. And they did that really well in the Nolan movies, where they're like, look, anyone can be Batman, anyone can be, you know, all that stuff. That's what the whole idea of it is, that anyone can become more.
And I think
Right?
that's why. That's why Flash is not only popular because it's a great show, but I think everybody I speak to talks about
Everything the light touches.
wanting to be connected to the cast, wanting to be friends with the cast. I wanted to talk about the new season 5. Iris and Barry have a daughter.
We have a child.
And can you share? I've always gotten in trouble, and I just keep I'm surprised I keep getting asked back, because I always ask the questions I'm not supposed to ask.
Right.
So, this is what I saw online, that Iris becomes more of a journalist again.
True-ish. Yes, true.
Okay, and Ralph gets to be more of a private detective.
Well, not really a private detective, but just detective on the team. I mean, that's one of the strongest traits of the character in the comics, and from like month 1, I was like, please, detective thing, and they wanted to build the character up slowly over the course of season 4, and then get to that, which I thought actually was really smart, and I probably would have made a mistake by trying to get to the detective thing too quickly, but we're shooting episode 6 right now, and we've started to explore that, and I'm really, really excited about what we're doing and where it's going to go.
Yeah. For me, yeah, it's a lot of West Ends, a lot of Barry, Nora, us figuring out that relationship. Nora has come back from the future. She's not too keen on her mother, for reasons that we'll find out later.
I mean, I know why.
Okay.
She told me.
So the first, several episodes we're dealing with a very contentious mother and daughter relationship.
And you've got a brand new villain, Cicada, played by Chris Klein,
Yeah.
who wants to kill all
You have to go poop.
Then again, in your world, who doesn't want to kill Meadows? So,
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open up the floor to questions. Please line up if you want to ask our panel questions. And I was told by the management, if anyone wants a hug or wants to give a gift, please go to the celebrities table afterwards. And please be polite and respectful. This is for your own safety. These are the people that took out Savitar and the Thinker. So,
I didn't help with that. I wasn't there. Just the Thinker.
all right. Anybody? I cannot see. Like wave. Please, go ahead.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Samir and I'm a big fan of The Flash.
Oh yeah.
I've been watching it since earlier this year and I binge watched the first 3 seasons in 1 month. So my question is, if you could be any other character in the CW verse, who would you be and why?
That's a good question.
I gotta think about it for a second. That's a really, really good question. I mean, the first thing that came to mind for me was probably Flash. I mean, that's awesome. I think she's gotta go to the bathroom.
She's a little, restless. She's like, stop it. Hartley also holds babies. Like, someone brought their new, 3-day-old baby to work. And there's Hartley just outside the studio, just rocking the baby to sleep. All right, enough. We get it. You're cute. You like dogs. You like babies.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be the Flash, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did it. It was okay.
Who would you be? You could be anyone. What's trying to think.
Strangely enough, and I don't even know the character's name, so I know I'm gonna get reamed for this, but Kyler's character, I think, on Supergirl.
Superman?
Kyler.
The Tyler.
No. Alex? I don't know. I just saw her like go backwards through a window shooting a gun with like a thigh holster, and I was like, I'm all about that look. I'm all about that, like, you know, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft sort of situation. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody?
Hi.
Oh,
Hi, my name is Lily, and my question is for Candice. I was wondering, now that you know you have a daughter, how does that affect you to marry?
It's a weird dynamic. I mean, even just prepping for this season, thinking about if I ran back in time to hang out with my parents when they were around my age, like just how weird that would be, being in a different decade, being with my parents who, you know, are probably still trying to figure out who they are as people, what that dynamic is like. And so Barry and I are fairly newly married, not even really thinking about kids yet. And here we have our daughter from the future who's back, who clearly is a speedster. So there's a lot to deal with. And, you know, Barry and I are sort of working on making that relationship healthy and happy. And of course that comes with a lot of ups and downs, especially with young women. So, you know, Nora's, you know, she's 1 minute not happy with me, 1 minute not happy with her father. So, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that I think people are really gonna like.
Thank you.
thank you. Next question.
Hi. Do you guys think that Team Flash should get a puppy?
We can't even take care of a turtle. How are you a puppet? You weren't there for that, were you? Oh, we got a turtle. Bear and I got a turtle.
Oh yeah, did
Tom's
Tom
character
get the turtle?
gave us a turtle.
What happened to the turtle?
No idea. Turtle's dead. For sure dead.
Is the turtle confirmed dead?
It's not confirmed dead, but we haven't seen it for like a good 7 months.
Well,
So,
turtles live for like 100 years.
if they're being fed.
Well, then, I mean, whatever. Feed the turtle. Where's the turtle at?
So the fastest people alive adopt the slowest animal.
Exactly.
Yeah, and don't have time to feed it. I think Team Flash should get it. I think Ralph should get a dog. In my mind, Ralph already has dogs. I just haven't found a way to like make them put it in.
Incorporate it, yeah.
Yeah.
We would love that. We're such a dog-friendly set. Grant's got 3 dogs. I've got a dog.
Yeah,
Jessica's got a dog.
I like
Amy's
that.
got a dog.
yeah.
We've got 2 dogs.
I've got 2 dogs. I get more excited to see your dogs than to see you.
Yeah, it's true.
That's actually true. Hey, Grant. Jet.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Marley,
Hi.
and my question is, so you guys get a lot of different guests come on the show, and I was just wondering, if you could have any one guest star on the show, who would it be and why?
Is this like anyone?
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I think I'm going to say it. I have this idea for Ralph's father to come on the show and be played by Jim Carrey. Yeah, and that's something that like I talked to Todd about like even last year, and I was like, look, I know it's never gonna happen, but I'm gonna try. Because, right? Like, isn't that that would be it? So that would be my thing. And then another one that comes to mind is, I don't know why, but I was shocked when I found out that William Shatner has never been on the show. He should just come out do anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
He can be a barista at Jitters. That'd be fun.
I think that's a bit
Maybe not a barista.
Yeah, something better than that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I tweeted about Pam Grier being on our show. That was, and I talked to our producers about it, and they were like, "That's amazing. We're gonna reach out to Pam Grier." And I don't know if they did. She just is not interested, or they haven't done it. I even tweeted her. She didn't reply. So I don't think my dream is going to come true, but
Pam Grier would be great.
she'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know who Pam Grier is, you need to know who Pam Grier
I
is.
feel like most of them probably don't know who Pam Grier is.
But I
They're
think she's
almost
just
too
amazing.
young to know who Jim Carrey is.
Please tell me you know who Jim Carrey is. Okay. So there you go.
Next question.
Hi, my question is for Candice. Since you're a few episodes in now, how is Iris's journalism going?
Why are you looking at me?
I don't know, because I was hoping you'd have answers.
Looks like it's going okay.
It's going. It's not a main topic yet for the season. She's, obviously more of an independent journalist. She is working as a journalist with some of the cases that the team is working on. But I think we're doing a slow burn into her, hopefully, eventually running her own newspaper, which we see in the future.
It's in there a good amount. It's in there like.
It's what?
It's in there a pretty good amount. I mean, we're
Yeah, I
Just
think
in-
every episode that we've shot so far, there's something alluding to showing Iris doing
yeah,
something.
because I remember even last year, I'd be like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. I think a lot of people for the last couple of seasons have really wondered why Iris wasn't, as she's seen in the comic books as
Yeah.
a journalist. And I wondered that myself, and I think we're finally figuring out a way to incorporate that in our show that we've created. And I think it's a missed opportunity, and I think it could be a really, really great storyline if they figure out how to make it work. I don't know. Superman and Lois seem to figure it out, so I don't know why we wouldn't be able to.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi. Well, that's really loud, I'm sorry. My question is for Candice, and I was wondering what you could tell us about Iris's relationship with Nora.
Oh, yeah, like I was saying before, not good. Not good. She is not a fan of Iris at all. And the first 5 or 6 episodes are pretty tough for Iris and Nora. Nora idolizes her father. She thinks there's, nothing better than Barry Allen. She wants to spend all of her time with him, and she's just very short and has very little patience for her mother. And we'll find out why, what she's been dealing with in the future, and why the relationships with her parents are so. But I think they're gonna figure it out sooner rather than later. So we're not gonna spend a whole season with Iris and Nora, not getting along. I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Next question.
Hi, I'm Kate. And I'm Abby. Our question is, if the Flash cast was in like a horror movie situation, who do you think would survive till the end, and who do you think wouldn't make it?
That's really funny that you say that, because one of the first things, this isn't quite your question, but one of the first things that I said was, I was like, why don't you all do a Halloween episode? Like, that would be so much fun to do one. Yeah, you feel the same way. But who would be the first to die and who would live to the end?
Yes.
Barry dies first, that's for sure.
Funny.
I mean, he's always like the hero and stuff, so he's
Got it, I
he's gonna be like, I got this, guys. Like, let's go team, and then just dies.
Yeah.
Like Chris Hemsworth in Cabin in the Woods. Like,
And,
got
and then I feel like it's gotta be like me or Jesse Martin that lived to the end. Who
Yeah.
have no powers.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like surprisingly, we're like,
And then after it's all over, I'll show up and be like, what happened?
because you were sleeping.
Yeah, because I fell asleep and my alarm didn't go off.
Yeah.
So that's how it would go.
That's how.
Yeah. Grant dies first. I mean, Barry dies first, not Grant. It's a terrible thing to say.
Thank you. You actually have done alt universe or Elseworlds type of shows where, one-off, which were terrific. The one where Barry and Supergirl wind up imagining. Those are just so fun because they get to really test the boundaries. Are those fun to do?
The crossover.
Not only crossovers, but like the imagined episodes where you play totally different characters.
Yes, so much fun to do. I mean, we're playing the same character, 22 episodes, 9 months out of the year from now, going on 5 seasons. I feel like, to some degree, I can play Iris West in my sleep. I live with her every day for so many years. So you get a script and you get to play someone completely different. It's like I don't know, it's like a dream. It feels like you're guest starring on another show or something. So it's really, really exciting for us as actors to be able to try anything different.
And you're in the hands of such great writers and producers who are just really so careful to just make everything work.
Yeah, they're
Give you
really
guys
good
the
about
dessert.
knowing everyone's strengths. They know that Grant is an incredible singer and dancer, and Melissa and Jesse Martin, Victor Garber, and so they use those strengths and they make really great episodes.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Taz, and I'm a huge fan of the show. I love you, Candice.
Love you too.
My question is, if you weren't acting, what would you do with your life?
Cool question.
For both of you.
Oh, for both. Oh,
Yeah.
I would be, if I could get through the schooling, I'd be a veterinarian.
Tell them what you do in free time.
Oh, I don't want to.
You know,
I just feel like that's like, look how great I am.
I think it's incredible. I mean, I guess not.
I don't want to.
Hartley works with rescue animals. He spends his free time at shelters, taking care of animals who don't have homes. He does that on his weekends, in his free time, which we don't have a lot of. It's a huge passion of his. He adopted 2 pit bulls, who are so beautiful, and he is always speaking out about pits and how loving and caring and beautiful they are as animals, and it's amazing. I think it's amazing.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you. Yeah.
It's very, very passionate about animals.
But yeah, I'd be a veterinarian, I think, if I could get through the schooling. And if not that, like if I went back and I had to do something else, I would have tried that. And if that didn't work out, I think I'd be a firefighter. I think that's what I'd do. One of those.
My dad is a retired FBI agent, and I always wanted to work. He's already looked you up. I already know everything I need to know, so relax. So I'd probably definitely be a federal agent or work for the CIA. That's what I thought I was going to do when I was growing up. I thought I'd kind of follow in my dad's footsteps.
Maybe you do work for the CIA.
Maybe I do. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Next question, please.
Are we gonna see Iris and the Speedster again?
Ooh, I don't know. I've been asked that a lot since we're
Maybe I should do that.
Safety first. I've been asked that a lot today, which is really interesting. I think I had so much fun doing that episode, and I feel like fans really enjoyed seeing Iris as a speedster. I don't think we can have too much of that because she is, the human part aspect of the show. But I don't think it's far-fetched to believe as fans that somewhere down the line we would revisit Iris as a speedster. But I know for next season, the speedsters are pretty much Barry Allen and Nora. We're going to see most of them speeding around Central City. But I would say, hold out hope. It's really not far-fetched.
Also, like, we're seeing a lot of that in Nora, and like, Nora is her mother's daughter. Like, she really, really is. So I think that was a really cool thing to do in episode 16 or something last year.
Yeah.
It was episode 16 last year.
Yeah.
And set that up, and then when you meet Nora, you're like, oh.
It makes so much sense, like
Yeah.
her costume being kind of an homage to her mother as a speedster. So it's kind of like Iris passing the baton to Nora as the female speedster in the family.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, if your characters were to leave their legacy or an impact on Central City in any way, how would they do it?
I think for Iris it would be the Central City Citizen, the paper. I think that's her mark on the city, starting a newspaper and being one of the hopefully best reporters the city has ever known. I think that would be, fighting for truth and justice, something she really values and believes in.
I think for Ralph it would be two things. It's like, no matter what, I know that Ralph would always, no matter what happens to Barry, and I'm not saying that as just a spoiler or anything like that, but no matter what happens to Barry and the team, Ralph would always continue that, and continue that message, continue that work. And then also I think like Ralph's legacy would be, I always pictured Ralph as like the guy you knew in college who was like doing keg stands and like just a total mess. And then you saw him 15 years and he was like 4 kids hanging off of him and like a great dad. And I feel like that would be like his legacy. It's obviously like Sue and everything like that and all that stuff coming in, so, or maybe coming in.
You know, I agree with that. The way the writers set up the Ralph Dibny character, there was so much potential for redemption and growth. And there's really just so much more that hasn't been touched or developed yet. So there's really a lot of trajectory there. Thank you. Next question.
For this new season, are we going to have any of the old familiar villains coming back, or this will be entirely new villains?
Yes.
Let me clarify that. Yeah.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, my name is Karen, and my question is for Hartley. I just want to know if you guys are introduced Sue Dearbon.
I get that question a lot. If we're going to introduce Sue Dearbon. Yeah. How do I answer that one? What do you
Yes or no?
The answer is, we've been talking about that for a long time, and we've been talking about what the best way is to do that. And I'll answer it this way. I don't see how Ralph continues here without Sue coming in at a certain point, and I think she will come in more or less sooner rather than later. He's got to be ready for Sue before Sue shows up. And that's something that we had to work with. Because a lot of people were like, why isn't Sue there? And it's like, well, you can't just have him come in and then have Sue come in right away. So he's been on this journey to pretty much get ready for her, because she's a total game changer for him. Yeah.
Sue is an interesting character. I mean, it was more antiseptic and wholesome in the original comic books, and then it evolved into one of the darkest stories that kind of changed the whole perception of how people read comic books. It just allowed. So it's going to be interesting to play with those characters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we could ever, you're talking about identity crisis, I don't think we could ever do, that's what it's called, right? Yeah, identity crisis. I don't think we could ever do that at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, but yeah, there's so much to do with that dynamic, and with her coming in and with those other aspects of Ralph and Sue. I mean, she's going to bring out so much in him when she comes in.
Oh, because it's interesting that the Flash plots go from very funny comedy to very intense tragedy and loss, kind of seamlessly, and come back. And the range is just really amazing.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun, though, for me. That's what I've always liked about comic books. I mean, I grew up reading them and had a trunk full of comic books and stuff. I always liked that. You could just completely escape or really relate to something on an emotional level.
That's what I really love about our show. You know, it does have its dark moments, but we're always kind of bouncing across the line of drama and tragedy and just absolute humor.
Well, it feels like real life. It's kind of what real life is like, you know?
Crying one minute, laughing the next, and I feel like, you know, Team Flash is constantly living that.
Next question, please.
My name is Onellis, and my question is for Candice. When you signed on to the show, did you ever expect the kind of impact that you had, and going forward, how does that impact how you play your role?
No, I didn't, but I do remember the day I got the call that I got the job, and I just kind of felt my knees crying.
What was that like?
It was surreal. I mean, I'd been in so many auditions and testing for shows, and it would be down to me and the other girl, and it always went to the other girl. And I remember just being so sick on my audition for Flash, not fit test for Flash, yeah. And I remember not being actually sick, but just so nervous sick. I felt like I was gonna throw up at every stage of the audition. And I remember saying to the casting director, I was like, I need to go to the bathroom, I think I'm gonna throw up, I think I'm gonna throw up. David Rappaport, and he's like, you're fine, you're so fine. He basically was like, you're fine, you're getting the job, you're fine, just go in there and have fun. But it had never gone my way, and so I expected this to be another incident where it was just not gonna go my way. And so a couple days went by, and I got the call, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And I remember saying kind of to myself, like, thank you, God. Like, God, I don't even know how or why I'm here, but whatever the reason, like, please just use me. And I said that, and I didn't even know what I meant, and then all of a sudden, you know, it wasn't just a role, it was like people were looking up to me, and people were, you know, seeing this as a change in the industry of some sort. And I became a voice for so much more than just an actress playing a role. And, you know, careful what you wish for, because, you know, whatever you believe in, God, the universe, they use me, and now I have an ability to speak on so many important issues. And this role has been so much more than showing up to work and saying some lines and crying some tears and laughing with friends. It's really about being an activist for representation, equality, feminism, all of that. So I'm really proud. I'll walk away from the show feeling like I did something. Even if it's really small, I was a part of something that meant something to someone. And that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi guys. I love the show. I just wanted to know, throughout the seasons, Iris has had such a big impact on the main story of The Flash. And last season, Ralph had such a huge impact. So for this season,
Such a what?
huge impact on the main story. So for this season, where would we see the characters going?
It's going to be a different one for Ralph than last season. I mean, look, the reality is that last season, you know, story-wise, Ralph took up a lot of real estate because we had to set the character up. So, you know, that was super, super fun for me and such a gift for me. But I didn't go into this season thinking that, you know, I would get a similar arc like that again, because it's such an ensemble show that we have to make space for everybody. And I was very blessed, very fortunate. Last year they made all that space for me to develop Ralph in the 13 episodes that I did. But this year, we made more time for Caitlin and for Cisco and all that stuff, and they're getting some great story stuff. But for Ralph, it's going to be, he's now really a member of the team, and he's different than he was last year because of what he died basically and came back. I mean, the dude's been through a lot, and this year he's a member of the team and he's in it, and I think the team trusts him. They know that, you know, he'll always be there for them, and now he can, you know, he's fully capable to be a member of Team Flash, and through that he's going to explore more of his personal life and dating, things like that.
We can fight some crime together.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a really fun one.
It's really fun.
It's one of my favorite moments of the season so far that I cannot tell you what it is. We did it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah. That's really cool. So we do some stuff together. Oh yeah, the screaming thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
But I feel like this season, in general, what I'm seeing from a lot of the scripts is it's all about family and what family means to each character. Villains, characters you love and know, new characters. It's all about what family means to you, how it motivates you, what it propels you to do or not do.
How it challenges you.
How it challenges you. So everyone is struggling or amplified by family this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more question.
Hi, I'm Lily.
Hi, Lily.
And my question is about Chief Authority. So I was wondering, how did you first react when you found out about it? And do you know if you're going to be doing like any events that are more hands-on with the fans, like gathering together?
How did I first react with what?
When you found out about Chief Authority, the whole
Oh, well, we created it. So Katie and I were on a hike in Vancouver, and we were talking about situations like this, conventions, meeting young girls like yourself, and you guys come up to our tables and you express, what you're going through or what these shows mean to you, and we get maybe 30 seconds to have a conversation with you, which is nothing. And we wanted a way to give back to you guys, to show you that we are more like you than not. I'm going through struggles, every day is a struggle for me in so many different ways, just being a woman in the world. And so we wanted to create a platform for you guys to be inspired and motivated by just a commonality and have a community where you can feel not so alone. So we are really just truly excited that people have caught on. We have so much coming down the pipeline. We've got a website, we've got the Instagram. I'm working on a book club for She Authority. We're trying to plan a joint party with Tumblr that we're going to be holding in LA, a She Authority party for you guys to come to. There's so much that we're working on, and we see it becoming something way bigger than us. It's not about, it started with the DC TV girls, but we're hoping that at one point we can kind of give it away and it becomes something for just women and anyone who identifies as a female, anyone that supports women. It's for you guys.
Thank you. And that's a great note on which to wrap up. I want you all to go home and contact the WB and ask that Jim Carrey be cast as Ralph's father.
Great idea.
The new season premieres on Tuesday, October 9th on the WB. And please join me in thanking Candice, Patton, and Hartley, Sawyer.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.